Peace. What's going on, everybody? Give y'all a chance to tune in to your boy before I start building on the motivation for the day. It's one of those motivational Tuesdays, man. Hopefully y'all starting off this Tuesday on a positive note, on a productive note. So I'm gonna give y'all a chance to tune in, man. Before we really start diving into the motivation for the day, I want to make sure y'all starting this Tuesday off on the right track, and I want to just make sure everything keeps flowing according to that right track, man. So we want to keep it positive, and we want to stay on that positive note, man, because I understand how hard it is out here, how challenging it is, how chaotic it is, man. So the motivation is needed, the motivation is necessary on a consistent basis. I know how that goes, man. So it's a constant reminder. Peace, D, what's going on? So I understand how some of us need that constant reminder, man, that constant source or that consistent source of motivation. Repetition is king, man. So the more that I can motivate y'all, the more that I can inspire y'all, the more that I'm gonna strive to do it. Because like I said, I know how it is out here, man. It's rough out here from a motivational standpoint, man, just staying inspired. Evan, peace, what's going on, man? Everything is smooth my way. Everything is peaceful my way. How y'all holding up? How y'all living? Oh, yes, sir. I'm all good. Like I said, just trying to pass along that inspiration and that motivation. Feeling good this morning, man. Just want to pass on that motivation, pass on that solid energy. Because like I said, we already know just like the negative energy is contagious, that positive energy is just as contagious. We just got to pass it on, distribute it. Magic Realms, peace, what's going on with you? Everything is peace my way. Just passing on that inspiration, man, because like I said, a lot of times, man, we just compare our lives to people around us. Nikki, what's going on? Peace. How you doing? How you living? But a lot of times we make the mistake, man, we just compare our lives to others, man. And sometimes when we do that, we tend to look at our lives as if we are failing in life. We are not moving as fast in life. Like that's the problem. You striving to run somebody else's race. They tell you that when you run in track, when I ran track, they always told us not to run someone else's race. Find your own pace. And a lot of times we don't do that when we compare our lives to someone else's. That's the wrong thing to do, man. Their pace is not your pace. Their race is not your race. So at the end of the day, like I said, when we tend to do that, and for the most part, our lives are never really as bad as we would like to believe or we like to think. So a lot of times, man, I just tell people right before you begin complaining, right before you start complaining, man, just really step back, think, analyze your life. Is it really as bad as you think? Is it really as rough as you think? Is it really as negative as you believe? 9 times out of 10, the answer is no. 9 times out of 10, the answer is no. It's always somebody that wishes they had your problems. The struggles that you are going through right now, someone would love to have those struggles because they are doing a lot worse. So you got to be able to look at life through that lens. Got to be able to look at life through that lens. Zucko, peace, what's going on with you, my brother? I'm going to definitely shoot you a text once I get off here. Yeah, Magic Rounds, most definitely. And like I said, that's why I believe in consistently doing like videos that's just motivating people and keeping them on that positive track. Because like I said, repetition is king. So I understand how powerful repetition is when it comes to just staying motivated, staying positive. One of the reasons why it's so easy for us to think negative is because we are constantly surrounded by negativity. So if I can just consistently push positivity, man, that can change that dynamic. And that's one thing that I'm striving to do, because all you got to do is just look outside, man. Even if you crack open your phone, one of the first things you may come across is some negative news, some negative information, some gossip and all that type of nonsense. So I'm just striving to change the narrative, man. I need for you to, as soon as you pop open this phone, you see some positivity, you see some motivation. That's how we really begin to change that narrative, man, and just change our mentality, change that mindset, change that level of productivity. DeAndrea Peace, what's going on with you? How you living? But yeah, like I said, man, we in control of that more so than we know, more so than we give ourselves credit for. Y'all know I talk a lot about us always striving to give credit to things outside of ourselves, which we really have to stop doing that, man. Like, we really control that narrative, man. When you wake up in the morning, that's enough for me. That's enough motivation for me. The fact that I have awakened in the morning is enough motivation for me, because then whatever I did yesterday, whatever I didn't like about yesterday, now it's a new day for me to implement some changes so that I can be better than I was yesterday. So the simple fact that I have waken up in the morning, that I have awakened in the morning, is enough motivation for me. That's enough to get me going. It's a new day. It's a new day. People say new year, new me. I'm like, new day, new me. That's the way that I got to look at it. That's the way that I got to look at it. And a lot of people ask me, like, when it comes to working out, just how do I stay motivated all the time? It looks like I never lose motivation. I'm like, man, I'm motivated just by living. Being alive is enough motivation for me, because like we all know, this is not promised to anyone. So in any given moment, cliche saying, man, one day you're here, next day you're not type deal. That's how it is, and that's how I look at life. So every moment that I awaken, man, I'm like, all right, I'm thankful, man, I'm grateful. So now I got to make improvements, because yesterday I did this, that, and the third. I'm striving to be better than I was yesterday. So this is how I'm going to improve upon myself. So that's the key to how I'm constantly staying motivated, man. It's just being motivated by life. Being motivated by life, man. This is a gift, man, literally. It's a gift, and I think we tend to take it for granted. We tend to take this gift for granted, man. You're not promised the next 30 seconds. You're not promised the next 30 minutes. You're not promised the next hour, 2 hours. You're not promised the next day. You're not promised the next week. So why am I I don't like to waste a lot of time looking too far ahead into that future, because I'm not promised that future. But right now, I'm here, and I need to focus on that present. And a lot of times we overlook focusing on that present and get too caught up in the past and that future. A lot of Eastern philosophers or philosophies will tell you to focus on the here and now, the present. That's really all that you have. They say don't get too caught up in the past. Don't look too far into the future. They tell you focus on the here and now, because that's really all that you have. And like that's a key to my motivation, man. Just waking up and just embracing the day. Not looking into like, all right, this is what I'm gonna do tomorrow. Can't wait till the weekend. Then diving back into the past. Like, I can't believe this happened to me. Can't believe that happened to me. That's a formula for disaster. That's a formula for like constant stress. That's a formula for toxicity, man. Just, we don't need to be doing that. And a lot of times that's what people are doing. We too caught up on, man, in another year or so, I'm going to be doing this, that, and the third. Another 2 years, I'm going to be doing this, man. At the end of the day, you can't control that. You can't control whether or not you're going to be here another year from now. You can't. You can't, but what you can control is what you do now. And I tell that to everyone, man. That's just like that's my consistent advice right there. I'm going to always harp on that, man. What you can control is what you do now. That's what you definitely can control. Antoinette, peace, what's going on? Underdog, Peace Sosa, 100, what's going on with you? How y'all living? But, I mean, there's really no point looking too far into the future, man. But just piggybacking on the topic for this video, man, just, again, a lot of people, man, as soon as they wake up in the morning, they ready to complain. You know, they say you woke up on the wrong side of the bed this morning, man. But I know a lot of people like that. It's like, soon as they wake up in the morning, they looking for something to complain about. They hate the job. Maybe the kids getting on their nerves. Whatever the case may be, man, they looking for something to complain about, man. The first thing that you do, man, the way that you setting the tone for your entire day. Like, when you wake up in the morning, that sets the tone for your entire day. So when you wake up on that negative vibe, when you wake up spitting that negativity, you setting the tone for the rest of your day. So the rest of your day is going to reflect how you was thinking and moving in the morning. So that first hour of your day, that first 30 minutes of your day, crucial. And a lot of times we spend that first hour and that first 30 minutes on a negative vibe. whether it be like we rushing or just thinking about things that's negative. You need to spend that first hour of your day, whenever your day begins. You need to at least spend that first hour in that peaceful state, in that Zen-like state, just focusing on what you are grateful for. Like, that's how you need to spend that first 30 minutes, that first 20 minutes, that first 45, man, just the first minutes to hours of your day. You need to spend it in that positive state so that the rest of your day can reflect that. But when you wake up and you rushing, or you just immediately thinking about negative things that you don't like, then you wonder why the rest of your day is a reflection of that. Come on now. So that's one thing that you have to do, man. As soon as you wake up, man, just start thinking about things that you're grateful for. The first thing that you should be grateful for is the fact that you woke up. The fact that your body was wise enough, the circadian rhythm, we already know how that go. You should be thankful that your body is wise enough and strong enough to wake you up. So you should thank the body for just waking you up in the morning. You got that circadian rhythm, man, and it's functioning properly. So you should be thankful that your body is functioning properly enough to wake you up this morning. So that's the first thing, man. You breathing and you have waken up, meaning your body is functioning properly. So you should be thankful just for that in and of itself. But like I said, for the most part, a lot of us, as soon as we wake up, man, we thinking about maybe this job I don't want to go to. Hey, at least you got it. At least you got a source of income. Some people don't even have that, and they don't know what they gonna do about it, especially considering this pandemic. And it has shut down a lot of people's jobs. So just be thankful, man. It's you have a lot more to be thankful for than you had to complain about at the end of the day. But again, we tend to overlook those things and we tend to take them for granted, man. So you got to stop taking those things for granted that you are grateful for. And that starts in the morning. That starts in the morning. When you focus on those things in the morning, it's just going to make your day a lot easier, a lot smoother. Cam Cooper, peace. What's going on? Cam Cooper, no doubt. I try to tell people all the time, man, again, we tend to run right to social media. And that lets you know how controlled we are by these devices, man, by these electronic devices. The first thing that most people do when they get up on the morning, they checking the Facebook, they checking the Instagram, they checking social media, they checking that phone. So it's like, man, we can't even, it's like crack, man. It's like as soon as we wake up, we go right to that phone. It's the first thing that people do in the morning, man. You shouldn't do that because that's stress, man. Because as soon as you get on Facebook, you're going to start scrolling. You're going to start seeing a bunch of stuff that you don't necessarily need to see. That's not necessarily positive. That's not even pertaining to you. So you spending the first minutes of your day dedicated to this device that has control over you, this device that's making you a slave. Like, nah, you need to spend that first 30 minutes focusing on yourself. That's when we need to get our mental health together. That first 30 minutes of your day need not run to a phone. And that's one of the first things that we tend to do. We tend to scroll on that phone for like the first 10, 15, 20 minutes, if not longer. And we wonder why, like I said, our days turn out so negative and we unproductive. Just think about how much time you really wasting if instead of just getting right up, getting to business and focusing on your mental health, you kept spending 10 minutes a day, like the first 10 minutes just scrolling your phone. Man, that 10 minutes day after day, that's going to add up. That's going to add up. You're looking at over an hour a week, an hour and 10 minutes a week. That's adding up. That's smart. That little 10 minutes is adding up, man. That's an extra hour. That's an extra hour a week, an extra hour and 10 minutes a week that you can spend doing something that'll elevate your mental health, that'll elevate your mindset, that'll elevate your mentality. So think about it like that, man. That 10 minutes that you spend as soon as you wake up, scrolling the phone, checking the emails, looking through social media and all that good stuff, man, that's an extra hour and 10 minutes a week that you can spend doing something productive, that you can spend doing something that's going to elevate your mental health, your brain health. But nah, we wasting that 10 minutes because that's a waste of time. That's a waste of 10 minutes because you're not really elevating by scrolling on that Facebook and that Instagram. You're not elevating. You're not doing anything for your mental health by doing that. So you really need to spend the first few minutes of your day, man, just being grateful. Just running it back like everything that you're grateful for, man. I mean, that you should have that in your memory box, man, your memory bank. Everything that you're grateful for, man, you should just boom, wake up and recite that or get right to the affirmations, man, something positive. Stop reaching for the phone. Yeah, magic realms, that complaining, it creates more of the conditions. More of the conditions that you are complaining about. So if you hate your job, guess what? If you keep thinking about the fact that you may hate your job, like, you just going to continue to manifest that type of environment. That's only going to make the job a lot worse, a lot harder to deal with. And then if you move on from that job, guess what? You're going to continue to just manifest, again, similar conditions and a similar environment if all you're doing is focusing on the negative. Again, like we always say, man, we focus on the best parts, man. So I'm always striving to take the best part from a situation. I'm always striving to take the best part from a circumstance or an environment. Like, that's what I was taught to do, and that's what I teach everybody else to do, man. Focus on the best part. We like to settle on the worst part and wonder why things don't turn around. We like to settle on that worst part and wonder why things are terrible for us. We tend to settle on that worst part and wonder why we are in a constant state or perpetual state of chaos. Because you settling on that best, you settling on that worst part. You settling on that worst part. Yeah, Tavon, most definitely. And I even, it's crazy because I was reading a book about Facebook marketing, and that's one thing that the dude said. He deletes the apps on his phone. He deletes the apps on his phone. That's a strong piece of advice for the people that don't have the discipline enough to just not look at their phone or look through the apps as soon as they wake up in the morning, man. Because again, this is an addiction. So people got to understand, like, these devices, it's an addiction. Just like you could be addicted to foods, like we addicted to these devices, we addicted to social media, we addicted to these apps. So you got to break that addiction. You got to fast and refrain from social media at times. I know a lot of times it's how you use it. You can use it for positivity, but like I said, don't let it consume you. Your mental health is everything. So you should at least spend that first 15 to 30 minutes, man, just focusing on yourself. Focusing on yourself, getting in tune with yourself, man. You deserve that. You deserve that. Your body and your mind deserves that. You could at least give yourself 15 to 30 minutes, man. Then you can have the rest of the day to do whatever it is that you want to do. But at least dedicate the first 15 to 30 minutes to yourself. Yeah, Magic Realms, those affirmations are crucial. Affirmations are crucial. Like I tell people all the time, man, you can even, I mentioned the one book that I got from reading Mike Tyson's autobiography, Conscious Auto Suggestion. And basically he just repeats his affirmation, man, 20 times in the morning, then 20 times at night. Like, I just recommend doing that. Create a personalized affirmation and repeat it 20 times in the morning, and then right before you go to sleep, 20 times. Like that, I mean, that's a good strategy. I mean, as soon as you wake up, you got the affirmation on lock because you went to sleep too. So as soon as you wake up, man, repeat that affirmation. Get that affirmation going. Get your day started on that positive note. Affirmations ain't hard to do. It don't even take that long to repeat the affirmation 20 times. Like, keep it short and simple. The affirmation could be like a sentence or two. And just repeat that 20 times. As soon as you wake up, how hard is that? Then get you a few pages of a book in, man. Drink you some water. Eat you some fruits or whatever the case may be, man. Just do positive things that's dedicated to your overall health and well-being. When it comes, like, I used to dabble with chakras, but I don't necessarily, I'm not necessarily into studying chakras now. I understand the science behind them, but I don't necessarily utilize that language and that verbiage. But I understand the science behind chakras because I used to study it way back in the day. But I've simplified just chakras, man. That's why I don't even study that science anymore, because like I said, everything is really simple in regards to just manifesting and things of that nature, man, and just producing a life that you feel like you deserve or that you want to produce. But I understand the science behind chakras, but I don't necessarily use the language. So you won't hear me talk about chakras, but I understand the science behind them. I'm not necessarily in a disagreement with the science behind chakras. Sherwin, appreciate the donation. And Montel, yeah, that, hey, just walking around with thoughts, man, there you go. That's how you get in tune. That's how you get in tune with yourself. That's how you get in tune with the universe around you. ATM, LVN, man, all the way from Arizona, man, appreciate you. And D, that's the way to do it, man. That's the way to do it. If you could do the first hour without your phone, that's crucial, man. Don't check your emails, don't check your social media, nothing, man. Just journal. Man, journaling is crucial, especially for us black men, man. We need to journal. We need to jot them thoughts down, man. Journaling can save your life. Like, that's one thing that I recommend, man. We need to journal. So if you can spend your morning journaling, affirmations, reading a few pages in a positive book, like, I'm telling you, that's gonna do wonders for you. That's gonna do wonders for you. And even like just meditating, some light exercise, some light stretching, like all of that. If you can do that in the morning, if you can do those things in the morning, I'm telling you, you're gonna take your life to the next level. Tyson, now what? Now, in regards to my opinion on social media, like, what do you mean by my opinion on social media? Like, is it good or bad? What you want me to build on in regards to my opinion on social media? And then marijuana, like I said, I don't smoke. I'm not opposed to it. I'd rather somebody smoke than drink. And it's just abuse that I'm against, man. So I don't like when anybody abuses anything. So as long as you do it in moderation and you don't necessarily abuse it and use it as a crutch, man, then I'm all for it. I'm cool with it. Drinking is what I'm opposed to. I ain't necessarily a fan of drinking at all. That's one thing that I tell people do not do and you should not do is drink. But marijuana, I don't have a beef against it. It's just when you abuse it and use it as a crutch and you become dependent upon it. You shouldn't let the marijuana control you. You are in control. So anytime we become dependent upon the substance, that's when I have a problem. And a lot of times people become dependent on these substances and then they live in denial. So nah, like I don't believe in becoming dependent upon a substance, thinking that you need a substance to be creative or to be at peace. Like, nah, that's dependency. And that's a problem because everything that you claim that drug does for you, you can actually do for yourself. So again, we don't need to become dependent on anything outside of ourselves to reach that level of peace, man, to reach that creative state. So when we become dependent upon it, when you become dependent upon that substance, then I have a problem. Oh yeah, D, that's dope. That's dope. But I keep the journal on me. I keep several journals on me. And sure, most definitely, like I said, I can even man, we can really dive into like the science of chakras. And again, that stuff is like religion and science. Sometimes science and religion are saying the same things, just using different words and terminology and things of that nature. The same applies to like chakras in science. So when the East meets the West, a lot of times what can happen is the West then actually copied from the East in regards to their philosophies and their healing systems, and they just utilize in different verbiage. So really it's the same thing, but they just trying to utilize different verbiage to make themselves seem like they discovered it. So a lot of times we come across that when it comes to the East and the West. So sometimes the West that emulate the systems of the East use different terminology and act as though they discovered it. Now y'all copied that from the East. Tyson, appreciate the donation. Tyson, social media is one of those things that I don't like to place a good or bad label on it. Social media is neutral. Social media itself is not good, nor is it bad. It's just neutral. It is what it is. What you do with it determines whether or not it's good or bad. So you can use it for destruction, or you can use social media to uplift yourself. So it's how you choose to use it. It's neutral, just like a weapon, man. A weapon is neutral. The weapon can't harm anybody by itself. It's when somebody gets behind that trigger, that's when it becomes destructive. So you can use that weapon for self-defense, to defend self, or you could just use that, you can use that weapon and be ignorant with it and just go out on a killing spree. So it's however you choose to use that weapon. Social media could be that weapon. It's however you choose to use it. If you want to choose to use it for positivity, for upliftment, for business, whatever the case may be, then it's cool. But if you're using it for destruction, then that's when it becomes a problem. But for the most part, a lot of people get caught up in social media, and that's when it becomes a problem. A lot of times we running from our actual lives, and we just trying to get caught up. We getting caught up in social media because we afraid to deal with our own reality, with our own social reality. Jamar, peace, what's going on? What you talking about gang stalking? Now I can context clues, I can kind of figure out what you're talking about, but I just want to confirm that that's what you're talking about. Man, and I gotta make some of y'all moderators on this joint. I gotta Cause some of y'all be looking out for the kid, man. I gotta make some of y'all moderators on this joint, man. Y'all gotta remind me to do that. I suppose that Ben did that, man, but I gotta make some of y'all moderators on this joint, man, straight up. Cause some of y'all real supportive, man. So I gotta do that for some of y'all. Y'all be looking out for the kid, and I appreciate it. So I gotta make some of y'all moderators. The wife is in the building, y'all. Say peace. So D, if you dealing with gang, if you talking about gang stalking, and I'm just taking it in a literal sense, I mean that ain't necessarily anything that I've had to like deal with personally. But like at the end of the day, if somebody trying to get you to join a gang or something, if that's what the case is, if that's the reason why the gang would be stalking you, then I mean, like I said, at that point, man, you in control, man. Just stand on your square, let them know that you're not about to dabble with that life. And eventually, man, people will get the message. And Jamar, the same there, man. If you dealing with a woman that's stalking you, I mean, for one, man, you can get you a restraining order if you really want to, man. It depends on how crazy you feel like the woman is. If you feel like she a threat to your actual life and your existence, then you might have to go ahead and get a restraining order, and you might have to go that legal route. But if you don't really feel like it's a threat, man, in due time, man, it'll pass. But it just depends on how crazy you feel like this woman is that's stalking you. Stalking you in and of itself makes her another level of crazy, but it depends on how you feel about the situation. Oh, Sean, now, if you left the gang, for one, you probably left that gang for good reasons. So why go back to that life? If you left the gang, you probably left that gang for good reasons, man. You need to realize the real reason why you left the gang in the first place, and that's your why. So you need to focus on that. You need to accept that. You need to embrace that. So if you left the gang, you left that gang for a reason. What's the reason why you left the gang? And you focus on that why. And you settle on that why. That'll be settling on the best part. That'll be settling on the best part, like I encourage everybody to do. Like that's what we need to do as people, and that's something that we need to just consistently do. And I'm always, and y'all know for a fact, I'm always talking about my black brothers and black sisters because, again, man, that's who I do this for. Sean, peace, what's going on? Justin, peace, what's going on with you? How y'all living and how y'all feeling? But I'm always striving to just uplift my brothers and sisters because, again, like I said, man, we go through a lot, man. We go through a lot as a people. So I know how discouraging it can get at times, man. You probably working a job right now where you getting underpaid, man, and you probably work harder than all the people around you. Or it's probably people that then got promoted that didn't deserve the promotion, and you busting your tail, man, and then it's probably people up over you that you smarter than and stuff like that, man. So I know how I can go. Being an honorable black man, being an honorable black woman, man, I know how rough it can get, especially when you decide to stick to your roots and stick to your guns. Like you get disrespected out here, man. When you a black man or a black woman and you stick to your guns and you stick to the true reality of yourself. A lot of doors close on you when you decide to stay true to yourself. And that's sad. So that's why, like I said, I'm constantly trying to motivate my brothers and sisters, man, because once again, when you become artificial as a black man or a black woman, then a lot of doors open up for you. But when you say, all right, I'm black and I'm proud type deal, then a lot of doors close. So it's a shame that doors close on you when you accept who you are and you embrace who you are. That's a sad reality, but it is what it is. So a lot of times, man, I just got to encourage black people to stay true to themselves, because it's so easy. Like I said, if I wanted to move up the corporate ladder, it's essentially easy. All I would have to basically do is sell myself out, cut my hair, wear the suit and tie, talk a certain type of way. Like, I can easily do that, man, but that's not me. That's not me. So I got to get it by another means. I can't get it by that means, man, because that's not me. I'm not comfortable living that lifestyle, man. I feel fake. I feel artificial. I feel fraudulent. I'm not comfortable feeling fraudulent. Some people are comfortable feeling fraudulent. You know, they say fake it till you make it. I ain't never been one of those ones that will accept that type of philosophy. I can't fake it until I make it. I don't like faking it in the first place. If I can't make it by staying true to myself, then I don't want to do it. So I don't know how to go into something and then just fake it until I make it. Like, nah, I don't know how to do that, man. I know how to stay true to self and generate this wealth. Like, that's what I'm gonna do. That's what I'm gonna do. Kev, peace, what's going on? And Sean, where you reside at? Oh, D. Okay, so you talking about, okay, got you. You talking about that, which, I mean, that's still literally a game, because you talking about the biggest game in this country. So that actually is a game when you talking about agents and stuff like that, because then you talking about the government, you talking about CIA and stuff like that. So those are literally games. Those are the biggest games. So that still is a game. That's where, you know, that's who behind the formation of games. So when it comes to stuff like that, man, when it comes to dealing with agents, man, when it comes to dealing with people that they sent, I've been a victim of that. And for the most part, like I said, I just stick to my guns. I stay true to who I am. I continue to put out the information, so I don't even really pay them any mind. Back in the day, I used to argue with them. When they would come in my inbox making them threats, telling me I need to watch what I'm talking about and things of that nature. Now, at the end of the day, man, I just stick to my guns, stick to my purpose, stay true to myself. And I don't really too much worry about individuals like that. I don't really worry about the agents and whatnot. Master Tube, America is a corporation. That's all America is. People think America is a country. No, America is a corporation. America is a business model. Like, it's a corporation. America ain't no country. America is a corporation. It's an LLC. It's a corporation. It's strictly business. D, oatmeal is something. Yeah, oatmeal is beneficial. I recommend like steel cut oats. Idris, what's going on? Oh, D, most definitely. And that's that's another thing. They talk about groupthink and they talk about all that good stuff, man. I done been in that type of situation on a collegiate level and then on a professional level, man. When you're the only black person in the room or the only black person in the group, and they swear up and down that your voice is being heard, that they listening to you. If it's 10 people in the room and one of them are black and the rest of them are white, do you really think they listening to you? Do you really think that they listening to you? I can tell you that the answer is emphatically no. They not. They not. And sometimes that's a hard pill to swallow. Nah, Tavon, I don't necessarily food with the cream of wheat. Like I said, I food with the steel cut oats for the most part. Okay, Sean, you in Brooklyn. I can definitely see that. Y'all already know where I'm at, like St. Louis. Y'all know how rough it. Y'all done heard things about what be going on this side of town. So it is what it is. That's why for the most part, I'm just staying out of the way, man. I'm just staying positive, just trying to protect myself as best that I can, man. Just doing the affirmations. And people overlook that aspect of protection. Like you really got to protect yourself on that mental level. Affirmations, that's a form of protection. When you speak that positivity and when you speak that life into yourself, you protecting yourself. You protecting yourself. You defending yourself against the wickedness that's out here when you speak that life into yourself. So don't neglect that aspect of self-defense. So we always thinking about guns, knives, mace, pepper spray. What are you speaking to yourself to protect yourself? Like that's a key element to protection and self-defense. Masters, I can imagine LA being crazy. Yeah, Jamar, and that's another thing too. That's another thing too that I try to convince black people, man. Y'all got to understand that we striving to make these changes within this system, but at the end of the day, they not gonna put more black people in positions of power than whites, than themselves. And they not gonna put an equal amount of black people in positions of power to match their power. No, power is always unevenly distributed. So again, if we do get some of these black people or black folks in positions of power, they will always be outnumbered. I mean, it's just going to make sense. Why would they put more black people in positions of power to where they are now outnumbered, to where their voice is not being heard? That wouldn't make any sense. Then we would have to protect the black interests. So they do that for a reason. So of course they're gonna sprinkle in a few black people in certain positions of power, but at the end of the day, those black people gotta listen to somebody. Those black people got somebody that's giving them the orders, that's writing their checks. And the people that they gotta listen to, the people that these black people that are in positions of power gotta listen to, none of them are black. Yeah, Tavon, most definitely. Beautiful Goddess Keys, peace, what's going on? But yeah, I tell everybody, man, everything is mental, man. That's my philosophy, man. It's just been consistent. That's one of my consistent philosophies. I'm telling everybody that everything is mental at the end of the day. When you able to understand and really truly embrace that philosophy, man, everything becomes a lot easier to deal with and manage in your life. Oh, like man, the sleep paralysis, man. I mean, it's a lot of theories in regards to just like sleep paralysis. I don't want to misquote some of the science that I did on it, man. So I'm gonna come back and refresh my memory by grabbing some of the books that I got that deal with the science behind what actually is transpiring when you are experiencing a sleep paralysis. But again, like I said, we tend to make a lot of things a lot bigger than what they actually are. That's one of the things that really is not that significant or not that deep or not that spooky to me. So sleep paralysis, man, it's a lot of things that may phase a lot of people that y'all will understand that really don't phase me. I don't really view it in that deep light like most people. And when I use the word deep, y'all know what I mean. It's a lot of people try to make things a lot deeper than they really are sometimes. And that's one of those things, man. Really, life is simple. And we complicate things. A lot of the things that we witness, a lot of the things that we experience are really simple. It's really simple, man. Like we say, life is simple, but the human, we complicate things. So I really live by that philosophy of keep it simple, stupid. And like I said, most of the things that we experience, quite simple. And a lot of things, and sometimes we gotta be We got to be okay with not being able to explain something. That don't necessarily mean that if you can't explain something, that don't mean that the result or the cause of what it is that you can't explain is something that's outside of you. That just means we not able to explain it yet. They may reach a conclusion and be able to come up with an explanation in the future, but just because I can't explain something don't necessarily mean it has some spooky origin. And a lot of times that's what we do. Oh, Cam Cooper, no doubt. No doubt. Oh yeah, Magic Rims manifesting, and it's crazy. It's crazy the world we live in. So we always like to take things, and we just got a bunch of negative people. We got a bunch of negative people in this world, man, because it's crazy. Like, y'all know how they talk down to or talk down about or talk bad about the conscious community, and they use the word hotel in a negative light. So now you got people doing the same thing for manifesting. So now people getting upset with people using the word manifesting, talking about manifesting. And like, dude, like, why are you mad about people talking about manifesting? Like, what sense does that make? But that's how negative the world we live in is. Like, people can't even let people talk about manifesting without them finding a way to make it negative, without them getting upset about it. Like, so a lot of people, man, got issues that they need to solve with themselves, because certain things just should not make you angry. Like, certain things should not make you angry. Certain things should not upset you. It's people literally out here that are upset with people talking about manifesting and how they are viewing manifesting and things of that nature. I'm like, man, that's crazy. I mean, you mad at people for basically learning how to create their own reality. Sun gazing is not something that I intentionally practice, man. I'm probably gonna get into it more so like when the weather gets a little bit better over my way. Oh, we don't need, us needing 8 hours of sleep is a myth. Especially when you start to get more healthier. Like, it's a bunch of science out here. Like, the healthier that you eat, the less sleep that you need. I don't know if y'all remember me saying that, but I said that in a video some time back. But the healthier that you get, the less sleep that you need. Like, I don't need 8 hours of sleep. I can get about 5 to 6 and I'm good. And I've done a lot of studying in regards to like Chinese medicine and Eastern healing and things like that. And they all say the same thing. They say when you improve your health, you don't need 8 hours of sleep. You may need about a good 4 to 6. And I can attest to that. When I'm doing everything that I'm supposed to do in regards to my health, less sleep. I don't need 8 hours. Like, that's a legit myth. That's that westernized teaching and the stuff that they be teaching, the deceptions. Deceptions. We do not need 8 hours of sleep. You will need 8 hours of sleep if you adhere to the standard American diet. So if you eating like the standard American, then you probably gonna need that 8 hours of sleep. But if you taking care of yourself, you do not need 8 hours of sleep. You do not need 8 hours of sleep. So that's an actual fact, and there's a lot of science to back that. So the healthier you are, the less sleep that you need. So if you find yourself getting 8 hours of sleep and you still exhausted, like that's actually a reflection of your overall health and well-being, man. If you can get up 5 to 6 hours and you rocking and rolling, like, that means your health is improving. That means your health is almost at that level. But if you find out that you need way more sleep, like you just exhausted after 6 hours or 7 hours, like, your health is in bad shape. So you can actually use that to gauge where your health is at. Oh, Jamar, most definitely, man. You got it, man. You just got to, hey, just stay focusing on yourself. Just stay focused on yourself. Terenzo, peace, what's going on? D, yeah, it's some vegan ranch out there. I forget the brands off the top of my head, but it's some vegan ranch out there. Oh, D, man, that's why, like I said, that's why I study like Chinese medicine, man. That's why I study the healing systems of the East. I don't even really waste time studying Western medicine, but a lot of, like what I mentioned, some of your Western practitioners are copying things from the East, but they reword it so they can take credit for it. So that's what tends to happen sometimes. But for the most part, I'm studying the Eastern healing traditions, man. I got a couple books on Chinese medicine, and them books are way ahead of their time, man. Like that's the stuff that I'd rather adhere to, like Ayurveda and stuff like that. I don't really focus too much on like Western medicine and what they teaching here on the Western hemisphere or in the Western hemisphere. Like I don't even focus on that. Because we already know how they miseducate us on this end. So like I said, man, the best thing that you can do is study Eastern medicine, Eastern healing tradition. Like that's the best thing that you could do, man. You can just study Chinese medicine, man. Just study the way some of the Africans ate, man. African holistic health. Study that. Ayurveda. Study that. Study that. Oh yeah, D, it's most definitely the wicked West, man, and everything is just getting a lot worse. Because like I said, what happened is people ain't really understanding the magnitude of what's really going on in regards to our overall health and well-being, and what I feel like part of the agenda was that, like I said, a lot of people are not focusing on. One of the things that's happening right now is this virus, this pandemic that hit us, and it shut everything down. Well, what happens when you shut everything down? People are more inactive than ever. What happens when people are sedentary and inactive? They gain weight. So you're going to see the obesity numbers increase and skyrocket. It's already happening. I got a lot of people telling me, man, they quarantine, they've been at home, they putting on 20, 30 pounds. So when you see obesity skyrocket, what does that mean? You about to see more cases of heart attacks. You're going to see more diabetes. You're going to see more high blood pressure. You're going to see more cancers. Like that's what's essentially happening because people stuck at home, and that's what this pandemic did. So it created, like we already was unhealthy as a people, and it's just multiplied it. So it increased it exponentially. Oh yeah, Airview, that's my next, like I'm about to start like studying herbs and stuff like that, man. So it's my next mission. That's my next mission. Dominique, peace, what's going on with you? So yeah, like I said, man, one of the side effects of this pandemic that I feel like they was aiming for was to create, I mean, I don't even know how you can get more unhealthy than we are as a people. But it then got worse. It then got worse because even some of the people that were active became inactive because of this pandemic. So you done made some of them unhealthy. So they really succeed in regards to the overall agenda with this whole pandemic. And that's one of the side effects from this pandemic, man. A lot of people just being inactive, putting on weight. And that's just going to increase a lot of other numbers, man. Like I said, diabetes, high blood pressure, cancers, and all of that. Heart disease, heart attacks, and whatnot. Just going to increase all of that. Bless and peace all the way from South Africa. Peace. My boy Antonio, peace. What's going on with you, my brother? Yeah, that's over when y'all, like I said, y'all already know since we locked in the crib what we doing and what we eating. So we locked in the crib. We ain't necessarily eating the best food. So we locked in the crib. They got us in regards to this pandemic. So we got to stay at home. We working from home. and we eating in any and everything. And that's, like I said, that's increasing, that's decreasing our health. That's making things a lot worse. Yeah, you know how I get the venting about that type of stuff, man. But at the end of the day, I ain't finna vent too hard about it. But that's one of the things that I've noticed that happened, and I feel like that's something that they were after. I feel like that's something that they were after, man, and they succeed and they undertake it, man. So again, when we tap back into the numbers next year, y'all gonna see diabetes, man. Y'all gonna see how it done increased. Y'all gonna see the number of heart attacks or heart disease. Y'all gonna see that number and how it increased. Y'all gonna see the cancer rates. Y'all gonna see how they increase. Y'all gonna see all of that. Y'all gonna see the obesity numbers and how they increase. And they've been telling us this for years. Like y'all know I read a lot of health books. They've been telling us by 2030, by 2040, by 2050, 1 out of every 3 Americans will be diabetic. Like that's what they are doing. They are manifesting that reality. And that's something that they've been telling us for a minute. So it's like 1 out of every 3 people that you gonna come across gonna be diabetic. And that's something that they've been telling us. Oh yeah, bro. Yeah, I haven't really been sidetracked for the most part. I've been more so focused, man, because like I said, I just try to make sure I control that narrative. I control what I consume. So man, I stay away from a lot of like just unnecessary negativity. And again, we already know how I feel about the news. So as soon as you turn that news on, it's just negativity. So I don't really entertain it. I don't really entertain anything that they say about the pandemic. Like the only thing that I just saw about the pandemic that I thought was interesting was they said COVID has surpassed heart disease as the #1 killer. So that's something that I thought was interesting. But other than that, I don't too much concern myself with what's going on in regards to this pandemic. And a lot of people feel like that's mindless. A lot of people feel like that's ignorant. You should do that. Like, nah, man, I just make sure I take care of myself. I'd rather study health than study this pandemic. I mean, that makes more sense to me. What's more beneficial? Me studying health and how to be healthy, or me concerning myself with the pandemic numbers, with the coronavirus numbers? If I'm studying health, then I don't have to worry about that. But we so focused on the statistics, the data. Oh, man, the numbers are increasing. Man, study your health. Study what you need to do to be healthy. Don't worry about these numbers. Don't worry about the COVID. Don't worry about the coronavirus. Study what you need to do. Nick, peace. What's going on with you? I don't necessarily eat peanuts, man. I mean, peanut butter is something that I can tolerate. A lot of people can't tolerate peanut butter, but I can. But I don't necessarily eat peanuts, but I do dabble with peanut butter. And I make sure, like I said, I get the organic kind, because I know, the science behind the genetically modified peanut butter and all that type of stuff. Oh, Joshua. Oh, paying people to take the vaccine. We already know what that's about. We already know what that's about, man. That's partly something that I predicted, but we know what's going on now. They trying to convince the people. They trying to convince the people right now to get this vaccine. So they got people like Obama, and they got little black children talking about they gonna get the first vaccine. Like, this what's happening. They just trying to convince the people. So of course they gonna pay people off and try to convince the people to get that vaccine. So that's all that is. That's all that is. That's a trash tactic, but that's something that they doing. They trying to convince people to get this vaccine. So what better way to pay people to say, all right, I'm gonna get the vaccine? Just like any other industry. You got stuff like Coca-Cola. They paying athletes to promote their product, and these athletes don't even use the product. They don't even drink Coca-Cola. So that's what's happening with the vaccine. Some of these people that are getting on this television screen talking about the vaccine not even gonna get it. They not even gonna get it. Their children ain't gonna get it. Their spouse ain't gonna get it. But they paying them to say that they gonna get it. So that's what's happening. Jamar, what's crazy? We talking about Pfizer. What's crazy? I did the knowledge to that particular company right when it's like in March, because I was like, hey, I said they finna create a vaccine, so this is the best time to invest in those type of industries, and that's one of the first companies that came up. D, man, it's a lot of signs that will determine if you need to detox, man. You can just really start to just analyze your body, man. Just how do you feel after you consume certain foods? How do you feel when you wake up in the morning? Do you have trouble sleeping? You can analyze your tongue. Do you got that heavy white coat? And you could just look into the eyes, like iridology, things like that, man. It's a lot of things that can determine whether or not you need to detox, man. But for the most part, if you just consistently feeling sluggish and things of that nature, man, and then it could be a mental thing, man. You just mentally feel like you stressed out, you drained. Then that sometimes symbolizes that you need to detox, and that's how I typically assess the situation, man. If just mentally I'm not feeling it, then I say, all right, I need to detox. Oh, Master Two, yeah, I know about young Pharaoh. Yeah, deep. And it's crazy. It's like a lot of some of these rappers that rap about alcohol and all that and don't even drink. Some of these rappers that rap about the destructive lifestyle, man, they be vegan, they be the healthiest people on the planet, and they basically encouraging you to destroy yourself. So like that's all that is. But some of these brothers that be rapping about the alcohol, man, they won't even touch a drink. But they finna rap about it and they finna make you touch the drink. Jamar, and that's what I had said. I said I wouldn't be surprised if after this selection, you see the vaccine being pushed, man, and that's exactly what happened. CA Boogs, man, the best way for me to detox the body is strictly fasting. When I fast, man, that's when I feel the best, man. You could do like a water fast is really the best way to do it, but you got to ease into that water fast. And what do I mean by ease into it? Like 2 or 3 days before you actually go on that water fast, depending on how long you're gonna fast for, you need to be eating light foods, light meals. Lot of veggies, lot of fruits, man. That's the best way to ease into the fast, and then you want to ease out of the fast. So the best thing to consume, according to my studies, when you break the fast, is like a vegetable soup, vegetable broth, or something like that, something along those lines. That's the best thing that you should use to break the fast. A lot of people don't know that. You don't necessarily want to break the fast with like fruits. So the best way to break the fast is like some vegetable soup or some vegetable broth. Nick Lewis, I wouldn't be surprised at all. D, I'm not necessarily a fan of dry fasting. I don't necessarily I've never did a dry fast. I mean, it's cool if you can do it, but I at least recommend getting some water in. Cam Cooper, man, I wouldn't. I mean, sometimes I slip up and drink that water before I go to sleep, but that's not necessarily the best thing to do. That can just overwork the bladder, man. That's why they tell you as a kid not to drink that water before you go to bed. That's something that I wouldn't recommend doing. It just really overworks that bladder, man. So again, that may cause you to wake up in the middle of the night, have to use the bathroom. That's all that's doing. But no, I wouldn't really recommend doing it, although sometimes I slip up and do it. Even when they tell you to drink that gallon of water a day, they tell you to try to finish the first half off by noon, then the rest of it by 6 p.m. so that you won't wake up in the middle of the night having to use the bathroom. That's one of the reasons why they suggest drinking or breaking your water down like that or drinking it like that. Jamar, when you say you did the water fast and almost died, did you ease into the fast? Like what was the last meal that you ate or the last meals that you consumed prior to going into the fast? But even then, that just lets you know how toxic your body was at that particular point in time. So when you do that water fast, man, and you feel terrible, like that's your body detoxing itself and cleansing itself. So that's letting you know just how toxic you were or are. So that's all that's happening. So that's actually kind of normal. Oh yeah, beautiful goddess keys. Like, yeah, the longer you do the fast, the easier it becomes. And then the more you fast, like the easier it becomes. So I be trying to recommend people at least find one day out of the week where they can kind of fast, man. Whether it be a water fast, whether it be like a smoothie fast or a fruit fast, whatever the case may be. But just find you one day out of the week where you can dedicate to fasting. So the more you fast, like the more you do it, the easier it becomes. Like the easier those prolonged fasts become. But a lot of times, man, people get too crazy with it out the gate. They ain't never fasted before, then they try to do like a 20-day fast or something, a 20-day detox. Like, nah, that ain't the best approach. If you've never done this before, you might want to ease into it. Because your body might go into shock mode. D, I don't rock with no type of steroid. Yeah, I don't rock with no type of steroid. D, when I'm working out in the fasted state, is something that I recommend for people that are trying to shred up, because that actually preserves like your muscle mass. So it makes you more shredded. So working out in that fasted state will shred you up. So if you striving to shred up, get that lean muscular look, like that Bruce Lee type look, I recommend working out in the fasted state. The only thing that'll be compromised when you do that is your strength. So you won't be as strong. You won't be as strong when you work out in that fasted state. So that's why they tell a lot of people to do cardio in that fasted state opposed to like lifting weights, because you're not gonna be as strong. So if you lifting for strength, then I don't recommend working out in that fasted state, man. But if you striving to lose weight, you striving to shred up, lean out, whatever the case may be, then I definitely recommend at least doing cardio in that fasted state. To Renzo, that 10-day juice fast. Yeah, 10-day juice fast, hey. Yeah, any type of fast for that period of time, man, is crucial, man. But like beautiful goddess Key said, after about 3 to 4 days, for me, I'm good. I'm rolling. Kelsey, yep, it applies to women as well. Like that advice that I just gave is universal. It applies to men and women alike. Yeah, cardio while in that fasted state. And a lot of people feel like they can't do it because you may get, the first few times you do it, it's an adjustment period. So you may get like a headache, you may feel weak, but like, again, it's an adjustment period. The more you do it, the easier it becomes. But man, I definitely recommend at least doing cardio in that fasted state. You will burn an enormous amount of fat by doing cardio in the fasted state. DJ papered up the L-glutamine. Like when I did the knowledge to it back in the day, it's not something that I necessarily just isolate and take by itself. Like I primarily get everything I need via what I eat. Like that was the goal I had for myself, man. I used to be on everything but like pre-workouts, man. But I used to be on a lot of like protein powders and whatnot. I ain't never taken a steroid or nothing, but I did used to dabble heavy with protein powders And that stuff ain't necessarily good for your kidneys and things of that nature. So I said, all right, man, I want to wean myself off of the protein powders. Really, I read a book that was written by Stickman from Dead Prez. And I forgot what the book is called, man. Something like I don't even want to misquote the book. I'll find the book when I get back to the spot and I'll let y'all know. But I read a book by Stickman from Dead Prez, and he pretty much documented his journey. He wanted to put on, what was it, like 10 or 20 pounds of muscle. And he wanted to do it a natural way. He didn't want to take protein powders. And of course, y'all know that he vegan, gluten-free vegan. So he wanted to put on the muscle while still sticking to his cardio regimen. So y'all know he's a runner. So he likes to run a lot. So he wanted to put on about 10 or 20 pounds of muscle by being, that gluten-free vegan and not taking protein powders and things of that nature and still sticking to his strict running schedule. So he was able to put on I think over 20 pounds of muscle without taking the protein powders. And that's when he broke down just kind of how toxic the protein powders are and why he was striving to put on that muscle mass without using the protein powder. So once I kind of read that, I was like, man, I'm done rocking with the protein powders. So that's what kind of inspired that. Then I started really doing the knowledge to the particular protein powders. Yeah, Master Tube, I don't suggest any of the protein powder. Like I said, it's too many foods out here that you can easily get the same level of protein from the foods. Like if you get some hemp seeds, you can easily put in that amount of grams of protein that you're gonna get from that powder without it damaging your kidneys at the end of the day. So just get you some hemp seeds, make your own protein powder, man. Get you some hemp seeds, get you some bananas, get you some almond butter. Get you some pumpkin seeds. Blend those joints up. So make your own organic protein shake. That's the way that I recommend doing it. Yeah, D, I don't even rock with the vegans. Of course, y'all know that when I was using the powders back then, I was getting the plant-based vegan powders. I was getting the joints from Mike Rashid. He had a powder that I was rocking with, a vegan plant-based powder, but I was just like, man, it really was unnecessary. I realized I was just spending a lot of money, and really it's just a money grab, man. They just got us believing a certain thing about the protein, so that's why we buying this protein powder. I mean, if I'm looking at this protein powder and it literally only has about 20-30 grams of protein per serving, I could just easily get my servings from hemp seeds and pumpkin seeds and things like that. So really, it's a money grab, man. That protein powder really ain't doing what we think it's doing. Yeah, Master Tube, man, you get your protein from a lot of sources. Like everything, again, I mentioned in the previous video, when we talking about proteins, we're really talking about amino acids. So everything pretty much has some amino acids in it. Fruits, when it comes to fruits, you're probably not gonna get all of your protein from fruits. So if they didn't study fruitarians, so they tend to be not deficient, but they tend to lack protein more so than other groups. But if you consume in a well-balanced diet, then you getting all the amino acids that you need. So you definitely get enough protein. So protein is not really something to worry about. Hence, which is another reason why I said, why am I buying this protein powder? The protein powder, that leads to you consuming too much protein. And that's when it becomes bad for the kidney. And that's what's making you more susceptible to diabetes. Like I said, the book I got, Proteinaholic. The overconsumption of protein can lead to you being diabetic. That's something that they don't tell us. And it definitely damages the kidney. So when we take in the protein powder, we tend to overconsume protein. Because again, we're talking about the amino acids. So that protein powder is not the only time that you're getting protein. Even if you mixing that protein powder with other stuff, it's more protein in some of the foods that you're mixing it with. So you're getting a bunch of protein. And just think about it. If you only need about 46 to 56 grams, if you're working out rigorously, then you may need a little bit more. So if you got a protein powder that's telling you it's 35 grams of protein, man, you drink 2 of those shakes, you done got 70 grams. So it's easy to overdo it. D, I was just about to talk about that. No, that's not necessarily true. Like I said, the consensus about 45, 55 grams of protein. Then if you work out a little bit more, about 65, 70 maybe. But it's real easy to get the required protein. Like I said, man, every meal gonna have some protein in it. So it's real easy to get the servings of protein. You would literally have to try hard to become deficient in protein. I mean, you would literally have to starve yourself. D, D is crazy, but the science out here in regards to, and I got to keep it honest, the science out here regarding veganism and like osteoporosis and bone health is not really convincing. So being vegan doesn't necessarily ensure that you will have good bone health. So the studies that were done are not really promising in regards to like veganism and osteoporosis and bone health. Our bone density tends to be a little bit lower and whatnot than people who eat meat than vegetarians and pescatarians. But that don't necessarily mean that the quality of our bones are terrible. So as long as you consuming a well-balanced vegan lifestyle, then your bone quality should be good. But the studies that were done out here in regards to like veganism and osteoporosis are not as convincing as other diseases and ailments. So that's one of the conditions where veganism doesn't necessarily prove to be the end all be all. So when it comes to like osteoporosis, like with a lot of conditions, if you just transition to the vegan lifestyle, you can probably reverse it. Well, that doesn't really apply to osteoporosis just yet, according to like the science that's out here. So I got to keep it honest. I can't act like veganism is 1,000% the end all be all. It is some science out here that in regards to certain conditions that letting you know that going vegan is not necessarily going to change this condition. And osteoporosis is one of them. So that's why I tell everybody, man, you just need to work out and really make sure you're consuming that well-balanced lifestyle to really protect your bones. Because you can't really eat a certain type of way to protect your bones. That's more so revolving around you lifting weights, you working out. That's where you really protect your bones at. Master Tube, I'm not necessarily a fan of tofu. I tried it, didn't really do anything for me. Oh, Jamar, man, I could definitely do that. Airview, the difference between is different branches of vegetarianism. I broke that down, but basically, you got certain vegetarians where they gonna consume eggs, they gonna consume dairy. Then you have certain vegetarians to where they consume eggs, but they don't consume dairy. Then you have certain vegetarians where they consume dairy, no eggs. So you got different branches of vegetarianism, man. But a vegan, they not consuming any animal products at all. Vegetarian, they gonna consume some form of an animal product, whether it be an egg, whether it be a dairy product. But they consuming some animal product. A vegan is not consuming any animal product. So and then vegetarian can consume honey and things of that nature. So vegetarians can consume animal products. A vegan, no animal products whatsoever. So that's the main difference. Dominique, I personally can't rock with like cow's milk, and it's definitely not intended for humans to rock out on cow's milk. But me personally, if I drink cow's milk, I'm out for the count. I can't do it. Like I definitely cannot tolerate cow's milk, just like 75 to 80% of black people can't tolerate cow's milk. But I'm not a fan of cow's milk. I typically strive to get the unsweetened almond milk, the oat milk, and hemp milk is the best milk, really, but it's not the best tasting milk. AI Matrix, I recommend eliminating eggs if you can, man. That increases that cholesterol. That's not really good for your chest, for your heart. Howard, peace, what's going on? Terenzo, man, I'm working on that. I'm working on that. Well, Master Tube, a vegan don't consume honey. I'm not necessarily saying that you don't need to consume, I mean, not that you can't consume honey, but I'm just saying if you vegan, then there's no honey. Like, I don't necessarily too much rock with honey like that. And it's just because y'all know the lifestyle that I subscribe to. But honey can have its benefits, but if you overdo the honey, again, you're talking about like the sugar, and that could be detrimental if you overdo it. Cam Cooper, if you could do like the iron skillets, that'd be the best thing to do. But you mentioned it, man. Cooking is not the best thing to do, so that's why I strive to tell everybody, man, go about 75-80% raw if you can, man. That should be everybody's main objective and main goal right now. Yeah, Master, too, when it comes to, there's really no such thing as a universal diet, but certain things, I tell people to just stay away from it. And meat is one of those things just universally that I tell people to stay away from. Dairy and dairy products like cheese is something that I really just tell people to stay away from. Cheese and like cow's milk. And then I definitely tell people to stay away from eggs. Like eggs definitely tear the chest up, tear the respiratory system up. That's the cholesterol. And then, like I said, we tend to overdo the eggs in the first place. But other than that, you just basically gonna be experimenting. D, man, I used to take cold showers way back in the day, like when I played football, man. That was great for healing, and it's good for like mental clarity. It actually helps clear the mind, man. Like cold showers are good if you can tolerate a cold shower. It has a lot of health benefits to it. But I used to do it when I played sports, and my recovery time was a lot faster. When I played football and I took cold showers, that actually helped with my recovery time. But just when it comes to, so it's a lot of things that just need to be broken down when it comes to veganism. And like I said, I'm pretty much do. I got time. I got videos and whatnot that I'm gonna do. But it's a lot of people just think it's certain things that you can't get when you go vegan. And I've yet to be able to find someone that can name something that that you get from another lifestyle that you can't get from a vegan lifestyle. There is nothing. There is nothing. So you can acquire everything that you need by going vegan. By going predominantly raw, you can get everything that you need. Everything that the body needs, you can easily get it. So, like I said, man, and that's something that, like I said, I'm gonna break down over time, man. But a lot of the times, man, a lot of people just think it's certain things that you're not getting when you go vegan, and it instills a lot of fear in people. But I've cleared up a lot of the myths in the previous videos, but it's still certain things that I gotta touch on in regards to just veganism, man, and just healing in general. Just healing in general. Because for the most part, man, when it comes to healing, we complicate the issue because we look at everything in that Western, and we look at everything through that Western lens. When you look through the Eastern lens, for the most part, man, it's like it's holistic. So it's just more so a problem of imbalance. So it's inflammation. You toxic. Like that's what it is. Mucus. Like whatever the word that you want to utilize. That's how they approach the situation. So if I'm looking at it and saying, all right, something is wrong. Like in what we gonna do here, we gonna find out, okay, your arm is wrong. Then they gonna diagnose it according to that arm being wrong, and they gonna give you this arm medication. Instead of assessing it like something wrong with your arm and something is wrong with your entire body. That's how you really need to look at the situation. If something is wrong with your arm, something is wrong with your entire body. It's an imbalance that's going on internally. It's not just your arm that's a problem. It's your entire body. The pain just went to the arm. That's where the signal is coming from. But it's actually your entire body that's off, that's imbalanced. So we tend to approach things incorrectly like that. Oh, my head is hurting, so I need to take something specifically for this headache. No, your body is imbalanced. That's why your head is hurting. So it's inflammation, you toxic. So the best way to heal oneself is to cleanse and approach it from a holistic standpoint. And it's real simple in regards to doing that, in regards to cleansing oneself. Like I said, fasting is the easiest thing to do. The simplest thing to do. When it comes to Master Tube, I don't necessarily do any type of like jaw work, man. Just communicating is gonna work out the jaw, so I don't do anything specifically for the jaw. Like I don't do anything specifically for that. Yeah, if you them cold showers, that's not for the weak, man. But those cold showers are very beneficial if you can stomach them, man. It's almost like fasting, like the first 3 days are rough, man. But once you get past those 3 days, then it becomes a little easier to deal with. Cold showers the same way. Like that initial shock is crazy, but the longer you be in there, man, the more immune you become to that cold water. So it's like if I'm in there, say for about 5 minutes, right? Like that first minute gonna be rough in regards to my body adjusting to this cold shower. But after that, it actually don't feel as bad. Airview, I've never went to a chiropractor. Never. I got routines and whatnot that I do on my own to just kind of readjust my spine and whatnot. So I got like a little routine that I do that helps with that. So I've never been to a chiropractor. But yeah, I don't have no beef with them. I know a lot of people that go to them, but I've just never personally went to a chiropractor. Yeah, Jamar, nutrition and then just like proper posture is also a key in regards to like your back health. We overlook proper posture, man. Posture is everything in regards to like that back, that spine health. CA Boogs, when it comes to like the morning, man, the best thing, for real, like the best thing, I try to get like smooth. If I can't get smoothies or like fruits in the morning, then I would probably consume some seeds, man, like some sunflower seeds or some hemp seeds, just kind of depending on what my goal is. But the best thing to consume, man, is like some fruits. So if you can get some fruits in the morning, like some blueberries, strawberries, raspberries, blackberries, grapes, watermelons, whatever fruits that you like to consume, the morning is the time to consume them. Oh, Jamar, you got it, man. The first black chiropractor, man. I might just come holler at you wherever you at, just to come support you. Yeah, so and just with some of those things, man, a lot of stuff is just real simple too, man. Like I said, one of the best things you can do is fast. Like that's the age-old remedy before all other remedies. The age-old remedy was to just refrain, like fast. That's the best way to cleanse oneself, because a lot of times, like that's strictly what we need, man, to just refrain and not put anything into our system besides water. So like Try to do that on a weekly basis. But man, y'all know how it is, man. I done got to vent again. But I pretty much stayed on topic for about the first hour once again. But I gotta get this gym ready, man. I got another session. Got another session that I gotta get ready for, prepare for. So I appreciate y'all tuning in and tapping in to your boy. I'm gonna go ahead and get this gym ready. May possibly holler at y'all again tomorrow, man. I appreciate y'all. Y'all enjoy the rest of this Tuesday, man. Get y'all some healthy foods in. Get y'all affirmations in. Get y'all some reading done. Just stay positive, stay focused out here, man. I'm out, y'all. Peace.